Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty significant happening over in the DeFi space, specifically on the BNB chain.
That's right. We're looking at a new strategic partnership.
Yeah, we've got a press release here talking about listed DAO teaming up with World Liberty Financial. And our mission really is to kind of unpack this collaboration. What does it actually mean for, DeFi accessibility? And what new doors does it open up, especially thinking about stablecoins, lending, borrowing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pairing. You've got listed DAO, a major player on BNB chain, joining forces with, a stablecoin provider, World Liberty Financial, who seem to really emphasize transparency and solid backing for their coin, USD1.
Right.
It feels like, maybe a step towards a more robust, more integrated DeFi options for users.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the first piece of news from the release. They mentioned an early success, the launch of this USD1 vault on Lista Lending. What does this vault let people do exactly?
Okay, so essentially this vault lets you put up certain crypto assets as collateral. The release names, BTCB, that's the Binance pegged Bitcoin.
Right, for the BNB chain.
Exactly. Then wrapped BNB or WBNB, Sliz BNB, which is a liquid staked BNB token.
Okay.
And also Ethereum, ETH. You deposit those, and you can borrow USD1 against them.
Like a loan, basically, using your crypto.
Pretty much, yeah. A collateralized loan using this stablecoin, USD1.
And they're making a point about the borrowing rate, 0.39%. That seems, really low.
It really does. That's definitely an eye-catching number. A rate that low could be a major draw for people who, need some liquidity but don't want to actually sell their crypto holdings.
Makes sense. Keep your assets, borrow against them cheaply.
Exactly. And it could also, stimulate more activity generally in the lending markets on BNB chain just because borrowing becomes more cost-effective.
Yeah. Cheaper money usually means more movement.
Right. And there's another interesting angle here. It says USD1 holders can then take their USD1, deposit that into listed DAO's BNBFI launch pool strategies, and borrow WBNB.
So you can sort of cycle it back in. Earn yield and borrow.
It adds another layer of capital efficiency, yes. Allows you to potentially earn on your stablecoins while still having borrowing capability.
Okay, so that's the initial vault. But it sounds like this is just the first step. They're talking about upcoming features,
right,
deeper integrations between the two. What's on the roadmap?
Yeah, definitely more to come. First up, they plan to launch a USD1 LUSD liquidity pool. Now, LUSD is listed DAO's own stablecoin.
Okay, so a pool for swapping between their stablecoin and World Liberty's USD1. What's the big deal there?
Well, deeper liquidity is the main thing. It means it should be much easier and likely cheaper for users to swap between USD1 and LUSD.
Smoother trading.
Right. And better liquidity usually leads to more stable prices for both tokens involved. It can also attract arbitrageurs, traders looking to profit from tiny price differences.
And they actually help keep the prices pegged, right?
Exactly. Their activity helps maintain the price stability. So overall, it just gives people holding either stablecoin more flexibility and potentially more confidence in the peg.
Okay, that makes sense. What else is coming? They mentioned using USD1 as collateral.
Yes, that's another significant one. They plan to accept USD1 as collateral within listed DAO's main collateralized debt position, or CDP, platform.
So instead of just borrowing USD1 using other crypto, you could lock up USD1 itself.
And borrow Lace USD against it. Correct.
How does that change the game for USD1?
Well, it really boosts its utility. It creates a new use case, a new source of demand for USD1 within the Lista ecosystem.
So people might buy or hold USD1 specifically to use it this way?
Potentially, yes. It weaves USD1 deeper into Lista's offerings, and it could also indirectly help Lace USD2 by providing another stable, potentially less volatile asset as collateral backing it.
Interesting. Okay, there was also mention of borrowing rate rebates for people holding Valista tokens. What's that about?
Yes, Valista. That's likely listed DAO's governance token, Lista, but locked up the VIVs, often stands for vote escrowed.
Right, like a staking or locking mechanism for governance power.
Exactly. So by offering lower borrowing rates or rebates to people who lock up Lista and hold Valista, they're basically rewarding long-term commitment and participation in the protocol.
Like a loyalty discount.
Pretty much. It's a common DeFi mechanism to incentivize holding the native token and aligning the community's interest with the platform's success.
It really does sound like they're building out a more interconnected system here. The press release keeps mentioning ongoing work on innovative financial tools and infrastructure.
I think that's the key takeaway. These aren't just isolated features. They seem to be foundational steps towards creating a broader, more efficient DeFi environment on BNB chain, leveraging what both World Liberty Financial and listed DAO bring to the table.
Okay, let's maybe zoom in on USD1 itself for a moment. It's obviously central to this whole thing. What do we really need to know about this stablecoin?
Well, the most crucial point, and something they highlight, is its backing. USD1, issued by World Liberty Financial, claims a one-to-one backing.
Okay, backed by what, though? That's always the question with stablecoins.
Right. And they state it's backed by short-term U.S. government treasuries, actual dollar deposits, and other secure cash equivalents.
So not algorithmic, not just crypto collateral, but traditional financial assets. T-bills, cash.
Exactly. That's a key differentiator. It's designed to signal stability and transparency, aiming to give users, a high degree of confidence that it will hold its peg to the US dollar because it's backed by these relatively safe traditional assets.
That definitely seems aimed at building trust. And the release mentions its current market cap is around $2.2 billion.
Yeah.
That's not insignificant.
No, absolutely not. A market cap like that suggests it already has considerable adoption and trust within the market, clearly stating the backing mechanism should only reinforce that perception. It could attract users who are perhaps more cautious or looking specifically for that kind of transparency in a stablecoin.
Okay, good context on USD1. Now let's flip back to listed DAO. The release calls it the leading BNB-IFI protocol on BNB chain. What's in their toolkit? What do they offer?
They have quite a comprehensive suite of DeFi services, actually. There's their own stablecoin, Less USD, which is an over-collateralized, decentralized stablecoin.
Like MakerDAO's DAI, but on BNB chain?
Sort of, yeah. Similar concept. Then they have Sliss BNB, their liquid staking token for BNB, which lets you earn staking rewards while still using your BNB's value in DeFi.
Useful.
Very. We already mentioned Lista Lending. And they also integrate with various Binance ecosystem reward programs like Launchpool, Megadrop, and they run HO dealer airdrops, so multiple ways for users to earn.
And they've hit some major milestones, right? Being the first DeFi BNB recognized for Binance Launchpool, why was that a big deal?
Oh, that recognition from Binance itself would have been huge for visibility and credibility.
Like an endorsement.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It likely attracted a lot more users in capital, signaling that Binance saw value and innovation in what listed DAO was doing, a significant boost.
And the growth numbers reflect that, I suppose. Almost 900% year-to-date growth in TVL City. Total value locked, hitting $1.1 billion.
Yeah, 896.92% to be precise. That's explosive growth.
Wow. And that makes them the fourth largest protocol on BNB by TVL.
Correct. Those metrics really paint a picture of significant user adoption and a huge amount of capital flowing into their system. It cements their position as a major player in the BNB chain DeFi scene.
Can't argue with numbers like that.
And, of course, their native token, Lista, is trading on major exchanges like Binance, BitGet, Coinone, and others, which makes it accessible for people to get involved.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive here, it seems like this partnership is fundamentally about synergy. Right.
I think so, yeah.
You've got World Liberty Financial bringing USD1, a stablecoin with this emphasis on transparent traditional asset backing.
Aiming for stability.
And then you have listed DAO, which provides this large, established, and rapidly growing DeFi platform on the BNB chain with all its different services. So the goal seems to be weaving these together, creating new ways to use USD1 within Lista's system, making lending and borrowing more efficient, maybe more stable, and ultimately just enhancing the DeFi experience on BNB chain.
That sums it up well. The specific integrations we talked about, the liquidity pool, USD1 as CDP collateral, the Velista rebates, they all point towards building a more cohesive ecosystem, giving users more sophisticated, potentially safer financial tools within DeFi.
So maybe a final thought here for you, the listener. As we see more of this happening, this integration of traditional finance assets like U.S. Treasuries, backing stablecoins like USD1, mixing with these decentralized protocols.
Yeah, it's a definite trend.
How might that blending reshape the future of DeFi overall? And maybe more personally, how could this evolving landscape influence your own thinking, your own strategies when you're navigating this space? Definitely something to keep an eye on as DeFi continues